Hello guys and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be talking about Eirgar and why he's one of the most important units in Summoners War, at least in my opinion. Now it's a pretty big claim, but let me at least try to persuade you into believing the same thing as me, which is not going to be that hard because he really is a good unit. Before we actually even talk about him though, I do want to tell you guys how to get him in case you are new to the game. So here we are at the Sky Island. We've all seen it. It's impossible to never have been here before doing literally anything else. But you'll go to the shop in the bottom right. You'll go to Ancient Coin in the upper right. Sorry for that. And then you'll scroll all the way to the right, and then you'll click Monster Pieces. You'll scroll to the right again, and there you will see Eirgar. Eirgar costs 50 coins for 10 pieces, meaning that you're going to need 500 coins. I hope my math is correct, because if not, I'm going to look stupid. But you're going to need 500 ancient coins, and if you guys have done any events ever, you're going to know that 50 ancient coins is quite a difficult thing to obtain. It takes time. It's not difficult, but it takes time. I mean, you don't even get ancient coins here, do you? No, I don't think. Yeah, it's literally, I mean, you get them in most events, so I'm not going to play around about that. You get them in most events, so regardless, though, it still takes time. It takes time to get ancient coins, so from the beginning, you're kind of wanting to aim for him. And if you're wasting ancient coins on Harg emojis or a different monster because someone told you to, sorry to say that, well, I won't say that you've been wasting ancient coins. I'll just say you've kind of been wasting time. Because while you can do it without him, he makes a lot of areas of this game really easy. But other than introducing him, let's get into his actual kit, right? So again, his name is Eirgar. He's the Dark Vampire Lord. His first skill is called Vampire Bat, and he attacks 2 times with the Vampire Bat and recovers HP by 30% of the inflicted damage. Of course, this is what all vampires do, but still useful. His second skill is called Weaken. He attacks the enemy 3 times. Each attack weakens the enemy's attack power, decreases the enemy's attack speed, and blocks beneficial effects for 2 turns with a 75% chance each. And it goes from every 4 turns to 3 turns when fully skilled up, and the harmful effect rate goes up. The third skill is called Blood Contract. Makes the Blood Contract with all allies to grant the vampire effect that heals their HP by 20% of the inflicted damage for 3 turns, and increases their attack power for 3 turns. You instantly gain another turn after using the skill, and this goes from every 6 turns to 4 turns, so we can actually look at it here. Let's see if I can pull it up here. So this is 6 turns, this is 4 turns. So you really do want to double mon this guy. Obviously, it makes things a whole lot easier. It's really hard to utilize him when you're getting an attack buff for 3 turns every 6 turns. You might as well just have a different unit. But when you do double mon this guy, which shouldn't be that hard, especially even in the beginning of the game when you're getting tons of these, then definitely put it into him. And his leader skill is also really great. He increases the attack power of all ally monsters in dungeons by 38%, which this is actually where you're going to use him. So, with that being said, we can actually use him in more or less places like the Rift Beast, maybe a couple places in Kairos, but for this video we're going to focus specifically on Rift. So let's look at his info. For his stats, what you're going to want to aim for is speed, crit rate, crit damage, and attack. You can aim for HP %, but I recommend attack just to get a bit of damage out. So you see speed on slot 2, crit damage, attack %. That's what you want to aim for. So I have very little speed on him. I want to get more speed on him, but I'm working on it. I went through selling a whole lot of terrible runes, so I just don't have runes at the moment. But I will show you his runes in a second. So he has 58% or 58 bonus speed, 1,395 attack, 79% crit rate, 168% crit damage, and no accuracy, sadly. I have him on Fatal Blade with these artifacts right here. And here are his runes. This one could be better, I understand. I could actually... god dang it, I'm sorry. I need to sell that, by the way. Speed, crit rate, crit damage %, and the substats. Attack %, HP % works as well. I mean, you kind of want accuracy, but trust me, it doesn't really matter that much. You're going to be using him in Rift. You're going to land pretty much everything that you need to land. When you can land them. But here I have this one. Again, could be better. There you go. There are his runes. Again, he could be a whole lot better, but he functions. So what we're going to do is we're going to take him and we're going to use him in a couple Rift Beast dungeons just to show you how effective he is and why he's so effective. Okay, so here we are at the Ice Beast. Here you kind of see what a typical team might look like. You're going to have 2 units in the front that help with, beating the boss. So we have 2 units in the front that boost attack bar and or attack speed, which Beladion and Bernard certainly do. This is going to help our units from being frozen. And then in the back, you would have anywhere from 3 to 4 damage dealers based off of whether or not it works. But you would have 4 damage dealers in the back. Now, what's important to have is an attack buffer. A unit that's obviously putting the attack buff on all your allies pretty consistently. In the beginning, you might use a unit like Fron. Fron is a very useful unit that you're going to use everywhere. I mean, you use her everywhere in the beginning, let's be honest. Of course, in Beasts, she has her pros and cons, and we're going to talk about her cons for a little bit, because we all know what her pros are. Her cons are, if you put her in the back, she takes up a slot, right? I mean, technically, she's a support unit. You would want her to be up here, right? But the problem is that she's too squishy. That's Fron's problem. She has a very low base defense of 461. And if you're like, oh, what's so wrong with that? I'm going to show you a damage dealer's base defense. This is the Twins' base defense, 582. We will go to a, let me make sure I'm choosing a damage dealer. We can go to Lapis's. Lapis has 582. Heck. No, not Naomi's 2.8. Of course she's going to have higher. God, I'm trying to think of a damage dealer that might have, or any unit that might have lower defense. I mean, this is a 5-star, so of course 604. Maybe we go here. Seek, 406. Okay, so Seek has lower base defense. But you see, I have to search, because if you start looking everywhere else, literally everything has a higher base defense than Fron. So Fron can't be in the front because she just dies, regardless of how you build her. I mean, not regardless. I mean, you could put in tons of resources to make sure her runes are perfect enough to where she could do her job and take hits. But if you're in the beginning of the game and you're trying to utilize her or Eirgar, it's just you probably don't have access to content or resources yet. Which is, I mean, why you're even farming the beasts. You're farming these beasts to get those resources. So it's kind of a double whatever, So, of course, what we're going to do is put her in the back, because she cannot take damage. But the problem is she doesn't deal damage, so she's just really taking up a slot, right? We have another healer that doesn't really do damage, which can prove to be an issue, as we're going to see here. So I'm going to allow this to run. I have 3 damage dealers. We should win. I haven't used her in a while, so I don't know if we're going to lose or not, but I believe we're going to win. We have the Wind Rakasha, which is going to help deal tons of damage. Right, and we're going to be using the leader skills of Fron and or Eirgar, just to be fair. So I know that Rakasha has an attack lead. We're using Fron's. So we need to keep track of when they are beating the boss, or when they're putting the boss in the groggy state. So right before he does his ice sweep, not that bad. Now, the difference between Fron and Eirgar when it comes to heals is that Fron's heals, I guess you could say, are more consistent. I mean, she has them on her 2nd and 3rd skill. So it's pretty set. I mean, it's like if your units need heals, she's definitely going to be there. With Eirgar's, though, his heals are a bit different, where the heals are based off of the unit. If the unit's dealing good damage, they're healing good amounts. So your supports in the front aren't exactly healing a lot, which could be a problem, but if you have Belladion and Bernard in the front, and they're ruined with a good amount of defense, it's not like they need it. You could also throw in units that put in passive heals, like Juan the Wind, Drunken Master, but it's dependent. It's purely dependent on you. So they finally got to half HP, and the fight is more than half over. I mean, at least the first part of this fight. Okay. Not that bad. As long as he doesn't get the Frozen Rageful Breath, then we're good. He's going to get the Frozen Rageful Breath. But it's fine. We healed, so we should survive maybe. Hopefully the twins survive. The thing is, this is the problem. Right here. Is if you don't have enough damage output, then your damage dealers die to Frozen Rageful Breath. And then it takes much longer to actually win. And it sometimes becomes impossible because all your damage dealers died. But thankfully, the Wind Rakashaw came in clutch. So, we won. We got triple S, as expected. But now we're going to switch it to a Eirgar. So, here's Eirgar. One thing to already note off the top is we have a 38% attack lead over a 10% attack speed lead. So we're going to notice already a big difference. Also, we are getting more damage out of Eirgar. Eirgar deals damage compared to Fron. I mean, Fron doesn't do nothing. He obviously does damage. Which again, you want for Rift Beast. You want to get that big old score. So, he's finally using his second skill and the boss is already almost down. The twins are going to go again and finish him off. Never mind. The twins are not going again. So, we need to see. As long as they beat it before Frozen Rageful Breath, I think that's a fair, it's a fair show, you know? But Eirgar, I'm just going to say outright, I think is just way more useful than Fron here. Fron is a really useful unit, and everywhere else, I'm sure you could definitely argue that she's better than him, which I wouldn't argue against it. But here, you're not really being debuffed, not to the extent that you really need immunity. What you need is tons of damage, and Fron is just taking up slots. She's just taking up a slot, so you're unable to get as much damage out as you want to. That's unfortunate, by the way. But she's taking up a slot. Because she can't take damage out in the front, so she can't be your tank. But she also is, again, not dealing damage, so her being in the back is just, it's a bit of an annoyance. But with Eirgar, he's in the back, he could deal damage, and he gives out consistent heals. So they beat it pretty easy. A minute 37 compared to, what was it, like 2 minutes? Still triple S, but yeah. We're getting another enchanted gem for Will. So I want to show you guys what my teams look like. And you're going to notice that all of them have Eirgar. Here you see, by the way, I have Lulu, but again, you're going to want a consistent amount of heals. And while Eirgar's Blood Contract is useful, I think Lulu is also helpful there. I mean, it works. Triple S, 5 million. Who's going to argue with that? Here, I have, obviously, Haraz Veilg in the front. Here, this works. I don't have Eirgar here, but that's because I think they just deal tons of damage. I don't need it. Light Beast, Eirgar is right there. Dark Beast, Eirgar is right there. Eirgar is way too useful of a unit to just not use here. We could take a look at his runes one more time, but I think I've made a good point. Ooh, I'm not going to tempt myself with that. I'm trying to save money. Your boy's trying to keep money in the bank, not go in the negative. So, again, we can actually look at his usage. So, Rift of Worlds. Rift everywhere in Rift of Worlds. I was thinking of Steel Fortress and Punishers, or not Punishers, but Necropolis, but I'm leaving that alone. I think he's a very useful unit. I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think he's as important as I say he is? Is he really that key of a unit, or am I just wasting my time? You guys tell me in the comments. I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Peace.